Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and those beyond the binary. This is The Between. Welcome. My name is Alex Rabitsky, and I will be the keeper for this gothic tale. My hunters, those who are currently in attendance, may introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Wes Franks. I am the founder and creative director of Carry and Cover Studios. My pronouns are he, they, and for this evening, I am playing Ross Fontenot, the American.
Hello, everyone. I'm Meg. I'm a DM's Guild writer and general author. And tonight, for all of you, I will be playing the illustrious Carla Holst.
Hi, my name is Jordan Fries. My pronouns are he, him. I'm an actor and musical composer. And tonight I will be playing the mother, the mad Dr. Murdock.
Phenomenal. Shelby is not currently with us. She might be joining us later during this evening, so for now, we will miss her. But I think before we begin, we had to give our due diligence to call out a few things. First of all, special thanks to our friends, Session Zero Clothing and Accessories. I will call them out every stream. I think they're actually doing a whole sale thing at this moment as well. So remember to go check out their socials at SZ0 Clothing, S0 Clothing, and their website, session-0.com. Remember, promo code FAILSAFE gets you 10% off your order. And I think that is everything at the top of the show this week. We're going to jump into tonight's episode and see what awaits us on episode, or I should say chapter 10 of The Between. 10 games, everybody. Okay. What will happen tonight? Bad things. The answer is always bad things. But let us begin after a brief intro, so stay tuned. We'll see you shortly. So, previously, when we left the Hunters of Hargrave House, some interesting developments transpired. The case of the Figs, for one, is being swiftly dealt with. So far, Obert Fig has been brutally murdered. Patrick Fig was about to be killed if not for the intervention of Pyrrha's uncle Pavel, who instead insisted and forced him to be sent away alive to Bedlam as the result of a misroll. But he has been resolved nonetheless. In addition, we also introduced our first side threat, that is the Reaver's last victim, the surviving kin of one of Roger the Reaver's victims, the Pharaoh family, expressed kind of disdain, or rather disappointment, for Anton Pharaoh's body having never been found, and their ailing mother would like some closure before she dies. The way that side threat works is you have only 3 night phases to resolve that threat, but you can't find clues for it. You have to narrate flashbacks, and we've already gotten 1, so that's 1 clue in the pot. And in addition to that, Carla and Ross visited the Society Obscura, where Carla had her photo taken by the Watley camera, and she also met the Abernathys, Cyrus, and was it Patricia? Where did my notes go? No, it's Portia. That's right. And what interesting things will happen as a result of that? I don't know. We will find out. But the other important bit of information that was kind of a stinger at the end of last episode was a guest of Pavel Rivia, who he was speaking with at Hargrave House, a man in a tweed suit who spoke only in questions and seemed keenly aware of your situation. Oh, what was that meddling? Yeah, with your meddling, I like that word. With Theodora Brathwaite, his employer. So what business he has with Pavel and what that means for you all and what that means for London is yet to be seen. And as a reminder, you are all invited to a masquerade ball at Brathwaite Hall very soon. Not this night, but possibly the next. We will see where things go. But I think that we should jump right into it with starting our dusk phase. That is where we left off last time. So let's see. First of all, let's start with the usual. Mr. Fontenot, give us that quickening roll if you'd be so kind. What is Ross invoking this evening? Composure or sensitivity?
Oh, it's gonna be composure.
Mm-hmm.
Whip out the dice. Almost forgot to whip it out.
That is going to be an 8, my friend.
An 8. I believe you take the condition drained. As you keep the quickening in check. What is the transformation? How is Ross barely holding back the transformation at the detriment of his personal being this evening?
I think Ross, after the good sir and Pavel made their way back inside, Ross, seeing the state of how everything happened with Pyrrha and everything like that, and like having that full conversation, he got swept up in everything. And as he was making his way to the kitchen to make some dinner for everybody, we just see him just like grip the counter tightly, and he goes, "Stupid man, stupid old man," and turns and just quickly stumbles his way to the infirmary. And we see him using his imbibement to help calm him down a little bit, but it's not enough. And the beast wants more. And we see there's one of these bodies that have been kind of left over from the infirmary from something that happened. Maybe there was a body that was left over that wasn't cleaned up completely from what happened outside. And the doctor was looking over it, and we just see Ross look at it and just snatch it real quick and just kind of drag it to the corner, and it's just over it, and it's just tearing into it and gnawing on an arm and just taking it, and then just
very good,
that type of thing.
Very good.
That's horrific.
Terrifying, terrible, absolutely
That is
awful.
fucking scary. When you said you went to the infirmary, I got very sweaty. I was like, oh.
He killed Cal.
You found a body? Oh, that's so weird. I thought I took care of them all. Oh shit.
Now
excellent. Good on you. God bless you, Ross Fontenot. All righty. Let's see. I believe. All right. Dr. Murdock, you have 2 dusk-related moves. You got Night Work and the Resurrectionist. Do you want to invoke either one of those this evening?
I think I would. I would like to activate the Resurrectionists. Kind of get that ball rolling.
Oh.
It's the first time I get to use the move, too, so that's exciting.
All right. You get your band of grave robbers led by Harley White. Which 2 options would you like to pick?
I was thinking that, oh, did I end up reading that wrong? So they can't just go and find a clue. They will find a keepsake. Well, I will have them, I'll have them find a part, and then I'll have them find a keepsake, which we'll end up naming in the morning. Okay.
Excellent. Those are your 2 choices. You have pointedly not picked avoiding blowback for their illegal activities, so I will just make a note of that.
Wait, is there? Oh, I didn't know that was an option. I thought that was just a prerequisite.
No, that's the last option on their little checklist. So you get the option of picking 2, one of them being you get no. So there might not be complications, but in not picking that one, it's like you telling me, oh, so I can do that if I want to. It's the same way with Ross's Cold as the Harlot's Curse move. He has the option on his thing to not draw unwanted attention to himself, but if he doesn't pick that option, it's an invitation for me to give him unwanted attention. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, I say we'll say screw the keepsake for now.
Okay,
I
you
will
want to
just choose. Yeah, I'll choose the
stay
fourth
under
option.
the radar. Okay.
I don't want things to get too crazy just yet.
Yeah, if we recall last time, it was the gentleman in the tweed suit, Mr. Higgins, who made a comment towards you about hinting at being aware of your illegal body harvesting, and so somebody
was watching me,
a little on
No,
edge. Yeah, you can feel those eyes upon you. So you decide to put money in the right hands and use what resources you have to make sure that Harley and his crew are flying very under the fog tonight. I like that. Okay, cool. And Miss Holst, you don't have any physical conditions. I would consider dissociative to be more mental. So then unquenchable thirst is not a trigger. And since Pyrrha is not with us, she does not have to mark the hunt, the Cosmic Passage hunt thing. I believe that is all the moves. Let's do a paint the scene question about Hargrave House as per usual. Oh, I'm going to save this one for the ball, which will probably, I think, be the next night phase. That feels like the correct choice. Let's see. I'm going to go with... Ooh, I like this one. Let's start right there in the main hall, the reception hall. Do you feel unsettled or at home when you enter Hargrave House? What do you perceive in the reception hall that reinforces this feeling?
Ross definitely feels unsettled by Hargrave House. It is not his preferred place of rest. He very much is a more mobile person. Is a more... He prefers to be in the muck and the mire, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it feels too clean. And it makes him feel like he doesn't belong because this is clearly not the type of place. It reminds him of home. And to even more so remind him of home, when you walk in, above the door leading to the rest of the back of the house in the foyer, next to the stairs, there's a portrait of the current head of Hargrave House, almost as if they are staring down at you.
Very nice. I like that.
The first thing Carla ever noticed when she walked into Hargrave House for the first time, it wasn't the decorations, minimal as they may be. It wasn't the portraits of those who've come and gone. It was a number of sigils and glyphs carved around the door frames and on the windowsills. And she can read them. And they effectively say, keep out, in just about every language known to man. And part of her knows, as much as she likes perhaps pretending to be human, that in another life those would be for her.
The doctor doesn't find much that is troubling with Hargrave House. His personal quarters are comfortable. His infirmary is like a second home, even. But there's something about that reception hall that just... It's a little too long. It's a little too long and a little too tall, and he may never realize it, but when he's walking through, he always puts a little pep in his step. He always kind of hears something at the back of his head, like something's standing behind him or speaking to him. It might not even have anything to do with Hargrave House. It might be his subtle paranoia, but something about that hall just kind of feels off. He'd rather not be there.
Yes, I like that. All right. Thank you. All right, let's go around. I want to hear what you would like to do this evening. Starting with you, Mr. Fontenot. In brief, what are you hoping to undertake?
Well, seeing how Figs Pigs is quickly on its way. I apologize.
That's the
seeing
ghost.
As how it is the ghost. Yeah, it is
the ghost in Carla's mirror.
That is in feline form. Seeing as how we are, almost done with Figs Pigs, but we there's a certain member of our troop that we want to be involved with that.
Yeah.
I would like to do a little bit of Watley camera business.
What are you thinking in that regard then? Like, what does that mean?
Not going back to the Society Obscura, because I think it'd be strange for me to go back to the Society Obscura, seeing as how I went through and everything. But I kind of want to keep an eye on the Abernathy's.
Oh, fascinating.
Almost do a little bit of tailing of the Abernathy's.
I'm into that. Very well. All right, so you want to tail the Abernathy's. Miss Holst, what would you like to do?
I think I'm going to spend the night with my own people. And I think I'm going to invoke my Cosmic Passage move.
Oh, fantastic. I look forward to seeing how that plays out. Okay, and Dr. Murdock, what are you thinking about doing tonight? I love that if you do something else entirely, that's you've split up 3 ways, and I'm here for that, if that's what you're thinking about.
I think I might have the doctor investigate Roger's room. Maybe.
Oh, that's super interesting. Okay. You want to stay at Hargrave House to like stay at. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay.
Like he's gonna stay there for the night because the FBI, not FBI,
Scotland Yard.
Sorry, I'm American. Forgive me. Scotland Yard has, gotten what they might have needed, but I don't think they really got what was important. It takes a seasoned Hargrave House eye to kind of see what's really important, and especially with Roger, who's so complicated. Yeah, we're gonna see about finding ourselves a fucking clue. See about finding ourselves a clue with the Reaver's last victim.
I love that. Well, I don't think you're gonna be able to, because I think, is that once per session or once per?
Oh, is it once per day phase?
I'm looking right now.
I don't think it specifies necessarily.
It says once per day, but day is not capitalized when the hunters take time to do so, because this is part of the same day as.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
If you want to stay at Hargrave House and do something else entirely, like that's totally fine. Like, or we can do anything you like, or maybe nothing you say will matter because I'll throw something your way anyway. Who knows?
I kind of like those odds. I kind of like those odds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Doc's kind of fucked up. His eyes fucked up. He's gonna see about tending to his shit this evening. It's gonna be kind of hard to go to a hospital and not have to explain that this happened because he attacked somebody.
Oh,
so
I love that. Okay, so you're
he's
just
gonna
gonna
deal with this problem himself.
You're gonna be healing up on your own self. I love that. Fantastic. Okay, good. Okay, I'm into this. Does anyone want to revise their statement after hearing that? Nope, we're all good. Okay. Ooh, exciting. Let's see. All right. Let's introduce the unseen for this night phase. I feel like there's a few that I've been looking at lately. But with the activities y'all are embarking on today, I kind of want to do the tarot card reading of Miss Lydia Wainwright. That's the second one there. Yeah. Lydia Wainwright is a young woman of 19, born into a respectable family. Her mother has commanded her to marry Edgar Thornton, the son of a wealthy industrialist, but her heart belongs to Samuel, a poor but very handsome chimney sweep. Lydia snuck off in the night to the home of a fortune teller seeking guidance on the matter. So that it will be our unseen this evening. I've been wanting to do that one for a little bit. Let us proceed to the night phase. Let's see. All right. We're going to give we'll just have the paint the scene belong to everybody. I feel like that's what we've been doing. As Lydia enters the home of the fortune teller, what do we see that shows this place has real magic?
Her cat has 3 eyes. 2 here and then 1 right on the forehead. It is a fully functional eye. And just like, if you catch it just right, you could swear that it fucking glows.
That's bizarre. I love it.
As the fortune teller, this elderly woman is shuffling the cards. We, the audience, can see that the cards are actually all blank. But as they hit her hands, you start seeing images slowly fade into existence.
Fuck. I like that. That's cool.
That's very good. Cool. It's very good. I'm into it. Okay.
There's a lockbox, a wooden lockbox. It looks almost like a bird cage, but inside there is no bird nor an animal. There's but a stick that is perfectly straight except towards the end where it bisects into a fork. Perfectly angled, as if to point towards 2 directions.
Very cool. I like
Dowsing
that.
rod.
Yeah. Very neat. All right. Let's begin with Carla. How is Carla preparing for her endeavor out? Like, what is like, set the scene as she's preparing to leave for her people. I want to hear what this is like.
She gets dressed. It's been a very strange day, very strange set of days. And she is going through these motions, putting on very fine clothes, but they're very, very old. They're not made of silk or satin. They're made of thick, fine woven wool. And she's putting on beautiful collections of furs and brass jewelry. And she does up her hair a little bit differently than she usually does, weaving in flowers, and they're fake flowers, but they're flowers. Weaving in flowers and a couple of feathers. And she puts a hood up over her head and a long cloak, and she heads off into the night without another word.
Amazing. Mr. Fontenot, how are you preparing for what is following the Abernathys, tracking them, watching them mean to you? What is set this, and tell me how Ross is preparing.
To better understand your quarry or your enemy or those that might be holding on to something that is dangerous, you must know them. You must know their routine. You must know what they eat, where they sleep, what they prefer to smoke, what they prefer to drink. You must know their habits and their routines. And to be able to get into that mindset, you have to make yourself invisible. But that does not mean wearing dark clothes or things of that nature. That just means blending in, which isn't always easy for Ross Fontenot.
No.
So Ross is not wearing his fur coat. He is not wearing his bolo ties or anything like that. He's still wearing his bowler cap, but for the first time in a long time, because even when we had the party at with the St. James over on St. James Street, he still wore a nice evening formal wear. You were going to be seeing him wear a very plain coat with tails, very plain suit pants, very plain vest with a very plain cravat.
as
plain gray gloves and a bowling cap.
Yeah, as you're
Bowling
standing
cap.
there getting your outfit assembled, you're standing in front of a like a vanity mirror in a Hargrave house, adjusting, checking out everything, and then you see that standing behind you in the reflection is a woman. A woman who is standing there, and you whip around and there's no one behind you. And when you turn back to the mirror, this terrified woman takes up where you were standing. She is screaming silently, and you recognize, or rather, you don't recognize, but you realize that this must be Penelope Levy. There's something about her, the woman who disappeared in the Watley camera threat. She looks at you and is screaming in silence before she is violently yanked back into the silvery void, and your reflection reasserts itself.
Ross is just going to take a hand and is just going to put it on the mirror and say, "Don't worry."
We cut away now to once everybody has already left, to Dr. Murdock. I believe you are in your infirmary, so what is the doc doing to tend to himself? I assume there's a bottle of like scotch in a glass nearby or something.
Yeah, I honestly, like, he went through the infirmary, kind of grabbed the things that he needed, pulled down the special golden book on his bookshelf to open the secret passage into his room with the child. He just sets up a mirror. He's hunched over like a table, just really trying to be like meticulous about.
Oh no. Oh.
Out his eye, he just kind of like gets.
Oh
no! What's
you're
the
back. You're back. You're
Hello?
back. You froze there for a few minutes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you're good.
How
You're
much
good.
did you guys miss?
Start over with how
it.
start over with what you were describing.
Okay, so the doctor had gone through the infirmary and grabbed the little tools that he needed, pulled down the special golden book for the bookshelf that revealed his special path into his room, his laboratory. He kind of hunched himself over a table just with a small mirror and just kind of, with like sutures, just slowly got to work. Every now and then he just kind of regards Big B on the table, and he just kind of speaks. I think he's too hard on her. Unless he decides that he wants to be the final Rivia, he needs to abandon this path that he constantly walks on. Fuck. And he's just kind of like working on his eye while he talks to this corpse.
A floorboard creaks somewhere outside.
Are there any? Well, I mean, I know we talked about the sky ceiling. Are there any windows in this laboratory?
In this laboratory, no. It's coming from elsewhere in the house, which is peculiar, Dr. Murdock, because everybody has left the premises for the evening, including Pavel Rivia.
We'll talk later. And he kind of packages. Oh shit, my chair's sinking. He really takes his packages and brings all this stuff together, packs up, and just kind of goes to investigate.
Yeah,
quietly.
you step outside. You close the laboratory behind you. You hear the creaking floorboards, and then you think you hear a little shuffle, something moving down another adjoining hallway. What do you do?
He's gonna go investigate.
Yeah, you walk
He's gonna go investigate
into the down like one of the little darker hallways. Why is your corner of the house always so dark? You'd think that you'd remember to light it better one of these days, but tunnel vision, Dr. Murdock, tunnel vision. You hear a little thud, like something drops, and a little tiny like round paperweight that's been dropped rolls across the floor in the middle of the hallway from around a nearby corner. You get closer, Dr. Murdock. You're investigating. You get around the edge of the corner and you look around it. There's no one there. And then behind you, you immediately hear, "Hey, pretty boy. and you spin around just to see as a fist is going right for you and clocks you out into blackness.
Oh shit, I'm knocked out?
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna go back to the unseen.
Oh shit. Uh-oh. Everyone's getting kidnapped. Goddamn.
Yeah. I'm glad that you stayed behind because I wanted to do that. All right, I'm gonna give this one to, I think, Meg to start out with. The first 2 cards drawn in the 5-card spread are the Lovers and the Ace of Wands, the latter of which is typically associated with passion. Speaking in the voice of Lydia Wainwright, the fortune teller. Oh, I meant to say, oh, the fortune teller is not given a name, my bad. Speaking in the voice of the fortune teller, begin telling Lydia what you see in the cards.
The Lovers, obviously, my dear. That's what you came seeking. You are torn not between one, but between 2. A man of which you hold great passion for, a man who which you would chase to the ends of the earth, in this world and beyond. And perhaps another who you would do so out of duty, not out of any real feelings, but out of what your family expects, of what has been expected of you your entire life. It's a difficult thing to be a girl of your stature. I come from a culture, of course, a place and a time and a class where I could do whatever I pleased. But you are a woman of means, and that means, unfortunately, you have to choose between what you know to be safe and to be what your family wishes, and between what your heart truly is telling you.
Very good. Let's just return then to let's go. Let's start with this round. I'm gonna start with Ross. So, where are we beginning? Where are you arriving at? Are you staying outside the Society Obscura and watching for the Abernathy's, or are you going to like okay?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes. And you will notice, much like me, just because let's make it a character thing, Ross is shaved. Ross decided to shave his face. Yep,
sorry, the next day phase is 5 months from now when it's regrown to a luxurious
when it's back
beard.
to the beautiful mutton chops. Yep.
Wonderful.
The whole thing's going.
You stand outside the Society Obscura, watching from afar, waiting. Yeah, I'm into this. Let's see. Okay. And as you're standing outside waiting, are you standing in like a nearby alleyway off like a side street or something like that?
No, Ross has a newspaper and is smoking a cigar.
Oh, okay.
These cigars are thinner than his normal fare. He stopped by a cart to grab them. He does not like the taste. They do not taste like home. He prefers American or more Spanish cigars that are a bit thicker made, not these pencily English cigars that they seem to use a different tobacco and a different leaf wrap.
Very indeed. Alrighty then. And change this. As you're like seated on a nearby bench, I believe, like you're like just kind of like spread out. You hear a voice suddenly appear beside you. Good evening, no, I said Dr. Murdock. Good evening, Mr. Fontenot. And you look off to your side, and sitting down at the bench is the man in the sun mask.
Goldie, it's been a while. Good to see you.
It is good to see you as well, Mr. Fontenot. What brings you to these parts? Spying on the Society Obscura, I imagine.
Why ask the question if you already know the answer, Goldie?
Because there are many ways this can play out across a multitude of rippling realities, and I'm curious as to which one we are currently floating within. But yes, all the same, I know the answer. You've met Cyrus?
I have.
He is
Seems to be a carbon copy of yours.
I would hardly say carbon copy. He is a close friend, however, and I assure you, as we, you and I, and the rest of your ilk are on perfectly amiable and, dare I say, friendly terms in this world, he too appreciates and is at ease with you. Do not perceive my arrival as an imposition. I'm simply visiting, and you picked a good night to watch, I suppose.
Indeed.
Just promise me you have no intention to harm Cyrus.
Wouldn't dream of it, Goldie. I'm just trying to pick up some information on Penelope and that dang camera.
Yes, Penelope and that camera. Best of luck, Mr. Fontenot. I'll see you around shortly.
And he gets up and strolls down the street. Around the same time, the front door of the Society Obscura opens, and you see arm in arm Portia and Cyrus step out into the cold autumn air and make their way down the street. What do you do?
He's going to look to his left and see like an alleyway where he can travel a little bit safer, but he might lose sight of them. He's going to look to his right, and he's going to wait a little bit. Damn it. And he's going to fold the newspaper, put it under his arm, and he's going to take he's going to stand up, his cigar, and he is going to try to put on his best foppish walk. And he's just going to walk behind.
Okay.
Not too close, but casually.
I like that. I feel like this is going to be a night move. Plus your composure. You are adopting a certain disposition. But I feel like drained would get in the way of this. So why don't you give me a night move? What are you afraid of happening here, Mr. Fontenot?
I'm afraid of them recognizing me.
Oh, they did meet you today very well. I think it's worse than that because I'm going to go with not as harsh a thing out the bat. I'm going to say they're going to double back. Actually, no, they're not going to double back. They're going to recognize you, and they're going to put you in a social situation where they invite you into their townhouse, and you cannot say no.
That's pretty bad indeed.
Nothing worse than social expectations. Do you still wish to embark with this course of action, sir?
Let's fucking do it.
Then roll disadvantage unless you have an item you can invoke.
I pull out my gun and I shoot it at no.
Jeez.
All right, roll those dice and keep the number to yourself. Actually, well, tell me the number first, but...
Okay, so I picked the two lowest, right?
Yep, two lowest.
And I was rolling with composure, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I rolled a 4, 5, and a 6. So 4 and 5, that's a 9, plus 2 is
It's an
11.
Okay. You do as you intend. You hold steady. We'll narrate that in the next go-round. Let's jump over to Miss Holst. Describe to me. You've arrived. What is this space that her cult convenes in? Where is the statue held?
It's a manor in the nicer parts of London. It's out of the way. Not many people go past it. Not many people really pay much attention to it, especially the fact that really not very many people come here, or at least not many people live here. She enters through into a foyer, which is covered in art pieces from... If you were a casual observer, you'd think that perhaps Carla had an interest in archaeology. There are Greek vases, there are Roman mosaics, there are heirlooms from the Viking raiders of Normandy. There are beautiful ancient objects on display in this center foyer. A woman comes up young, a little bit homely, perhaps, but still very fine of face, with mousy brown hair. Her name is Marianne.
Yes.
She comes up and takes Carla's cloak, and Carla starts heading down into the basement.
Mm-hmm.
It is lined with candles.
Is D.I. Pettigrew present?
Not tonight.
Not tonight. He's busy.
Not tonight.
Very well.
Well,
All right.
actually, yes, he is.
Okay.
He is, but he's in the basement currently.
Oh, he's okay. So you arrive in the basement with
And
Pettigrew present.
yes, the hallway, the stairs down into the basement are lined with candles and very nice smelling incense. At the bottom, Bennett is waiting for her.
Mm-hmm.
The little vampire boy, as she comes down and she kneels next to him, gives him a little kiss on the top of the head.
He smiles.
Mechanically, he doesn't have. He's not used Giveth on Bennett yet.
Mm-hmm.
That will come into play eventually.
Sure.
But mechanically, he is not under the breath of Giveth.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks down at Bennett and says, "How have you been, dearie?"
Oh, I've been quite all right, Miss Holst. They've been taking very good care of me. I'm not nearly as hungry. But you see that he kind of like eyes Pettigrew, and Pettigrew's actually looking a little anemic tonight.
Well, then, I think it's time that I give you a little lesson.
A lesson? I never was much for schooling, but...
Oh no, this isn't schooling necessarily. And she looks at Pettigrew.
He looks
You
over
said
at
you wanted to learn.
I did, yes. I did.
Then both of you watch carefully. And she walks through the basement hall, the basement, which is beautifully finished. It's finished in stone.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, hauntingly white marble. And at the center of it, ringed in candles. And there's actually a little bit of a skylight, which is filtering in way too much moonlight for how this space appears. It's very unnatural, but it's beaming down onto this statue, which you can see the slightly ruined parts here and there. And as Carla is approaching the statue, she starts speaking in a language that nobody really here understands. Let my words be heard by the night and the dark. Let my voice carry to the ancient and to the forgotten, the land of which I was from, and of which the land no longer remains. Hear me as I speak of that old time, of who I was and what I am. Bow before me, bow before she who was worshipped as a queen, as a god, and the names of which cannot be said by mortal tongues. I cast away that which was given to me, for now show me the world. And she puts her hand on the center of the statue.
Mm-hmm. Roll plus sensitivity.
And I will say that as she is doing this, she has her...
I will make a point real quick. I do think you have disadvantage on this roll. You have this commanding presence, but you feel tingling at the back of your neck, the flash of the Watley camera, yourself split between worlds. There is a brief moment, imperceptible to Bennett or Pettigrew watching, but you feel it like a grand glass chandelier crashing upon a marble, where your voice has the faintest, quickest hitch in your confidence. It is agonizing to you.
I'll say, because I want to counteract that,
yes.
That in this moment before she started moving up, she placed the mirror with the ghost at her feet, and she is kind of using that as what's the right word? She's using it as an anchor. As in she can see herself.
I'm gonna narrate something actually very crucial than what
Yes.
happens instead. Is you set this mirror down upon the floor, and reflected in it is the St. James's Street ghost of the maid, who is standing there idly in the background watching, and even as you're like speaking, you feel a disturbance, or you see that we see in this mirror, I should say, in the meta, camera kind of thing. The ghost turns her head to look in the reflected space, and we see that there are these like slithering, shadowy, dark tendrils of darkness coming out from nearby, going for Carla. And the ghost, in a flash of kind of bright greenish light, begins to act as this otherworldly anchor to push off the influence of the Watley camera away from you, grounding yourself in reality. Mark the mirror and roll with sensitivity.
Okay. That's a 7.
7 to 9. I believe you scar your reflection, but you get we'll address the outcome later.
We will.
But you scar your reflection. Okay, Dr. Murdock. Before sight returns to you, there is the splitting headache. You've never been good with taking a punch. And that one, you immediately tell what your logical brain, actually, well, I would say your lizard brain clicks on first, which is to say, ow, pain, cold. But then immediately following is the more logical, analytical mind that is like, you have just been struck to your right temple by a human fist, but with enough force to clearly stun you. You feel groggy and sore, and you're also laying face down. And as you open your eyes, there is still nothing, but you begin to adjust to the darkness, and you smell horse, like animal stable scent, and you realize that you are laying face down in an animal pen, in some stable, it looks like. There are no other animals, and the air is cold. It's autumn, but this is like colder than what you'd normally get in London. What do you do, Dr. Murdock?
So for starters, am I restrained at all?
Yes, your wrists and ankles have been bound.
Okay. What are they bound by?
Like a thick, kind of workman's rope.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna try to get ourselves out of this rope.
You begin to
really quick
push up against them when you hear a door open, and walking into the room are two very burly looking men who see you struggling and just kind of like leer down at you and chuckle. They open your stable door and they just begin dragging you outside. It seems you're expected somewhere. They drag you where your feet leave a trail in the kind of hay and sawdust floor of the stable before your vision's still blurry and hazy. You feel a sudden colder brush of air and then a lurch downward as your feet are tugged down a couple of steps and into like mud that they begin to drag through, and you realize you're not in London anymore, Dr. Murdock. You're in the country.
Shit.
Yeah, there is a cloudy autumn sky overhead with a break where you see a waxing gibbous moon in the sky, leering pale moonlight down, illuminating a faint slit of what you realize to be a vast green yard that at one end, far away, ends at a dark, looming country forest. And as your eyes trail the other way, they come upon a gargantuan manor house. And there is a group of people who have gathered at the front of the manor. Some have foxes with them, or sorry, not foxes, hounds with them. Others are atop a couple of horses. there are a couple of other people here that are, you see that are also bound up. They don't look like much. A street urchin, perhaps, a laborman of some kind. And at their head, there's a woman about your age, Dr. Murdock, who is standing there in, let's see, where did I put my notes? There it is. Yeah, who is standing there in riding togs, and kind of like a hunting coat for the cold air, who is holding a hunting rifle kind of level, and the burly men drop you before her, and she looks down at you with this perpetual sneer, and she reeks of leather and horse. And as she speaks, her voice is the one that said, hello, pretty boy, to you right before you were blacked out. And she says, oh, so he's finally up. Good. Cocks open the gun and begins to like load some shots into it. I was worrying he wouldn't be joining us tonight. And, and another like man comes and goes, Orion, what do you wager, Tutty? I wager that I can get 2 of them, including our guest, the doctor here. They kind of like nod. You see them exchange money with one another. They're betting. And I feel like you are a smart enough man to realize you've seen enough paintings and depictions of hunting parties in the countryside. And you're tied up here with some other living people. Ah, they're hunting the deadliest game. And Tati Brathwaite announces very loudly before everyone here. And she says, the rules are simple. We are going to cut you free. You will run for the woods. You have 3 minutes to run in as deeply or as far as you can make it before your legs give out. If we see any of you break for the sides before hitting the woods, you will be shot on sight. And you have until morning to survive. I don't need to tell you what happens if you're caught. Begins to polish off her gun. At the sound of the whistle, on the count of 10, and you see that one of her, like, this like drunk guy kind of goes, 1, 2, 3, and then Toddy goes, 10, dear God, and blows the whistle. And they cut your ropes. Immediately, the 2 other men with you book it towards the forest, stumbling. What do you do, Dr. Murdock?
Dr. Murdock makes a run for it. He trips the guy to the right of him.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna have you make...
He really, like, takes his foot and just kicks at his fucking knee to the side.
Ooh, I'm gonna have you roll a night move plus your vitality with disadvantage. Dr. Murdock, what are you afraid of happening here?
I'm afraid of fucking my ankle up if this happens.
Oh, that's great. I'm gonna say it's worse than that because you won't even make it to the forest edge by the time the 3 minutes is up, and you will be shot to death by Toddy Brathwaite.
Fuck, man. Okay, all right.
And do you want to use any of your items to get advantage on that, or?
I kind of can't.
I
can't really argue with those.
Okay, let's see it. Make the roll with disadvantage.
All right. Okay, so we're rocking 2, 3, so it's gonna be a 7.
Okay. That will be okay, there will be a complication or a cost, and I will tell you what it looks like. But for now, let's jump back to the unseen.
Oh fuck, man. Oh fuck, bro. Oh shit.
I'm gonna give this one to Wes. The next 2 cards drawn are the 5 of Swords, typically associated with violence, and the Fool, which represents the beginning of a journey. Continue the Fortune Teller's card reading.
The Fortune Teller looks at Lydia after looking at the first 2 cards drawn and goes, interesting. Pulls the next 2, sits them down, then flips them almost with one movement, flips them both, In comparison, seems that you're going to have a very full and eventful future ahead of you, darling. Pushes forwards the 5 of Swords and says, if you make a decision, this could lead to violence in your future, though may not be for you. Could be for someone close to you, someone you care for deeply. Interesting. Might you want to put yourself before them to save your own hide? Or could a decision that you have to make save their life? She pulls the card back into the row and pushes forward the Fool. A journey, though. Which direction do you go? Which choice do you make? Either way, there is something ahead of you. To the left, something easier, with less recognition, with less risk. But to the right, something much more exciting. Could be a potential rendezvous, not with just one, but another. Very interesting. Lydia ponders. She looks and she goes, yes, this all sounds very normal. I just was expecting more. The old woman laughs and says, worry not, for this is not a complete sight. And her eyes fall on the final card.
Fantastic. Let us return to Carla, I believe. Let's resolve this first. So, your reflection will be scarred, but you have the choice of finding in your masterwork a clue or a mastermind clue. Which are you looking for?
Just because I want a little more time with Society of Obscura, and I'm like a little bit of fun. Let's do another mastermind clue.
We increase the counter.
Increase the
I believe
counter.
we're at 12 now.
We are at 12.
Alrighty.
And as
yeah, narrate to me how this how this happened.
Carla's hand goes against the statue, and there is a flash isn't quite the right word. It's very Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. At one moment there is Carla dressed in this ancient looking garb, and the second next you see this towering woman. She almost is hitting the ceiling, long hair draping and hitting the floor, skin gaunt but perfect, beautiful and flawless, eyes glowing bright red. And her hands are tipped in long claws, and you can see that through in the shadow, in the reflection of the mirror, you see there are these dark tendrils surging towards the masterwork, and Carla, at the last second, as she is in this moment of ecstasy and enveloped in all of this power that she has stopped herself from using, she pulls away from the masterwork, and you can see those tendrils now form almost like a writhing sun at the very, very center of her chest.
Amazing. And oh, go ahead.
She comes back down, and it's as she was before.
And the clue I'm going to give you will be... I feel like I have to do this one. This makes incredible amount of sense. You see whether it is, I'll say like you feel like the voices like whispering to you, coming from the statue, and you see a flash of a vision, and you know that currently Dr. Cal Murdock is being hunted by Tidy Brathwaite at Brathwaite Hall.
She opens her eyes and she looks back to the two of them, Bennett and D.I. Pettigrew.
Mm-hmm.
Word for the wise. If you're doing things like that, make sure that there's no one else looking in. You're very lucky I was able to keep it from hurting anybody else here.
You see that D.I. Pettigrew is balking, wordless.
There's a great amount of violence tonight, it seems. Perhaps I should have stayed back. Oh well. Marianne?
Yes, my lady.
Please get us some drinks.
Of course.
I have much to think about.
Of course. And she sees herself out. Let's jump away over to Ross again. So, Ross, you rolled 11, so that you do what you intend. Narrate what happens.
Ross is following behind the Abernathys, slowly, assuredly, making sure that there's at least 2 or 3 bodies in between the two of them. The Abernathys are not hard to spot, though. They are garish and gauche in their appearance, as is their manner of which they carry themselves. When they stop, he stops, making sure to take in a sight. When not utilizing a newspaper, he has pulled out a notebook, of which it seems that he is drawing sketches. Sketches that he normally takes, but they are not very good, but just of different buildings or still life sketches. He follows them until they arrive outside of a townhome.
Mm-hmm.
Plants in the front, steps leading up to a door, let's say purple, with a knocker that depicts brass, moon, and stars. He waits until they go inside. And the real work begins.
And what is that work, Ross?
He throws the newspaper away and he starts looking for observation points and access points to this townhome, ways to maybe climb up on the roof or windows that look in, or maybe a back door.
I'd say that there are many points of egress, so if you're looking to spy in on the interior of this home, I think that you can easily find that. Why don't, and your plan is to look inside this strange townhouse and see what's going on?
Exactly.
All right, give me an information move plus, I think reason. I think that's what makes the most sense here. Let's see. Yeah, plus reason, and you do have disadvantage from drained, I'd say.
Indeed. Let's see if any items will help. I use my gun to shoot out a window. No, no items help me. Perfect.
All right, with disadvantage.
That is a 1 plus a 4, which is a 5.
Mm-hmm.
And my reason is a 0.
Okay. What kind of access point is Ross positioned at?
I would say he is positioned at a window that it is a second-story window. Mm-hmm. He has probably climbed a shed or a building that has a lower roof and is crouched down behind a chimney or a smoke pipe, and is currently, he's got like opera binoculars that he's probably grabbed from either Carla or Cal's room that he just like noticed like just in the time of just like earlier in their adventures as Hargrave House, probably just nabbed them and is like, they're never going to use these, and then just takes them and is looking in through a window that has a view of a second floor landing, and it kind of gives like a view of the steps. It's a big bay window.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because you gave you painted a lovely picture here. What do you think, is this, whose home is this? Is this the Abernathy's, or is this...
This is not the Abernathy's home. This is someone else's home.
Do you have an inkling as to who?
I would say it's probably somebody that might be a subject. Somebody that wishes to be a subject for the Abernathy's photography skills.
Okay, I'm interested. A purple moon and star motif. I like that a lot. This is the home of a woman named Carolyn. And I think Carolyn is very big into like the stars, astronomy, kind of that aspect of it. And she's having a like an evening tea with the Abernathy's. She is a prospective member of the Society Obscura. And you see them interviewing here. What's gonna happen? Okay, yeah, I'll do this. Portia has been carrying with her a very large bag, and you see that during this little tea time, she opens the bag and pulls out the Watley camera, and positions it, and you can just barely hear conversation through the glass of just,
well, certainly. Before you join our club, we'd like to see how you appear past the lens.
And he's like, oh, yes, I'd be more than pleased. And they set up a little space, and you're watching this all go down. And you watch that, like, Cyrus is setting up the camera, and Portia's walking the space. And she trails a finger off some dust on the mantelpiece. And it takes you a moment to realize that, like a coffee stain, where she touched begins to bloom and drain of color until the whole room takes on like a sepia tone. And Carolyn just seems transfixed by the camera. And they hold up the flash pot, and Cyrus is about to take the picture when he pauses, stops, and he looks up at you and looks at you and sees you, but he kind of gives you a curious look, and he looks back away, and he takes the picture, and as the flash goes off, let's see. Even though you're not the subject of the camera, the flash, you feel something strange, something bizarre, something off, and what am I gonna do? Oh, this is a hard one. I'm gonna say that when the flash dims again, Carolyn is nowhere to be seen. Do you wish to avoid this fate or live in it? You do have some threat-specific masks that have not been used yet.
Yeah, we haven't.
Oh shit!
I want to find out what causes people to disappear by the camera, but I don't want to be found out that I know. Because that puts a target on my back.
What do you want? You have the Mask of Apathy and the Mask of the Pig as free masks. Well, actually, the Mask of Pig has to be used on fixed pigs. The Mask of Apathy, though, can be used in any situation. If you would like to have a free mask so you'll get the clue.
I'll take the Mask of Apathy. Yeah.
Amazing.
Put it on me.
The Mask of Apathy states that each hunter narrates a flashback to a time they were hurt deeply and no one cared. And we'll address that in a little bit. I'll say what happens instead is she does not trail her finger along. The room blossoms into sepia. But as there is a flash of the camera, so too is there a brief flash in your vision. I'm going to give you the condition between two worlds.
Oh God.
The between?
The between. But you will.
That's the name of the movie.
That's the name of the movie. Hey. But you will get a clue. That is something that happens here. Let's see. Oh, there's so many good options for the Watley camera. I'm gonna go with. Ooh. This is a very unique one. Okay, after the camera is taken, the photo is taken, they walk Carolyn into another room, and you have to like rush to like find another window to like look in, and she's taking them into like her like orrery room. I guess Carolyn has bought some kind of mechanical contraption that the Abernathy seem transfixed on. This complex orrery depicts the 7 celestial realms, and the Abernathy seem transfixed by it. Of great interest to them. Like, and I'd say that like their bearing is like, oh, this was the kind of the thing that got them to come here to speak with her and get to look at this orrery as well. So that's your clue. Dr. Murdock.
Oh, fuck.
You got a complication or a cost. I'm going to narrate what happens. You swing low and kick out the fate. Thank you, Ross. Someone had to. I was thinking it too. You kick out the feet of this running laborer, who falls to the ground with a loud huff and grunt. And you begin to get further past him, and you run deeper into the woods. And he's shouting and cursing after you. I think here's the complication. You're just booking it blindly through the trees. Great. It's a weird sensation to go from running forward to feeling the world spin around you, but you realize that you've just stepped into a noose trap that wood, and you feel it slip around your ankle, and the weight is thrown, and you are yanked up into the trees. You are deep in the woods now, but you are hanging upside down in a hunting trap, looking at the ground, and then you hear the sharp whistle. What do you do?
The doc curls himself like upwards enough that he can reach his ankle and stuff, and instead of cutting himself down, he begins to pull himself up at least high enough to where he can wrap his ankles around and begins to climb higher enough. If that's able to hold his weight enough, surely he can climb up there and wait for them to pass.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you do one more night move because of your circumstances. I'm gonna have this be plus. I feel like it's not difficult to climb. It is physically intensive. I think the thing here that you're going is like, I'm trying to stay quiet and out of sight. So this will be plus your composure. You'll have disadvantage. I think you're stacked with conditions. What are you afraid of happening here, Dr. Murdock?
I'm afraid of being found and killed.
Love it.
Like that's
and you're afraid of being killed. It's worse than that, because in a cruel twist of fate, Dr. Murdock, you will be parts of you, I should say, will be harvested for display. All right. Do you wish to continue attempting to hide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
We'll
What did you roll, sir?
It's a 10. I rolled 2 4s and a 6. Oh, with my composure. So that's gonna be an 11.
Wait, you rolled a 10. It would be a 12, wouldn't it? Because like composure's. Oh, it's 1. I thought. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, my composure is
I
a 1.
misread. Great.
Yeah. So I just rolled an 11.
Narrate what it looks like to me then. What happens? This means that you will successfully hide for the remainder of the hunt.
He's not hiding for the remainder of the hunt. He's just waiting for them to get past.
Then rather to say just, you paint me the picture of what happens then and how he survives through the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm. So how it happens is that something clicks in Murdock, something a little more primal. This reason that he's held on to for all of his life has kind of begun to shed away. The spitefulness that has been sitting with him for days at a time has quickly grown into a rage, and not like a blind rage, but a meticulous one. What happens is that he climbs up and unties the rope, and as they pass by, he begins to let himself down. And as he wraps these ropes around his hands, he realizes that now they're ahead of him, and he's going to start hunting them down.
Oh, brutal. Okay.
He's gonna do his best to find Tati and fucking kill her himself.
Well, I'm gonna say that with an 11, you don't get as far as killing these hunters, but rather immobilizing them. But if you want to bump up the roll,
I was gonna ask, can I actually don? And this feels a little fitting. I would like to don the Darkened Threshold mask.
That does feel extremely fitting. What is the prompt on your Darkened Threshold?
Narrate a scene in which you destroy a professional rival.
What? Do you want to do that scene now, or you want to wait a little bit?
Yeah, I think I do.
All right. So a professional rival from your academic doctorly career. How did Dr. Murdock destroy his rival?
I'd say it's about to happen.
Oh no!
He is.
This
is a
professional. This is a professional rival, which means somebody in the field of medicine.
I'm getting there.
Oh,
I
okay.
got you.
Oh,
I'm getting there.
Ooh, okay, I'm on board. I'm on board.
As he begins to let himself down with these ropes, very slowly, very meticulously, he begins to wade his way through this forest. As he passes by, this is the first time that he has done something like this. He's never taken a life before, at least not consciously. Never with the intent of harming someone. He's only ever taken from people who he felt like deserved it, or they were already gone. As he comes up, he wraps the ropes around this first person. This is his first ever kill, and whips their head back, only to reveal that it's Trent, the other person in the morgue.
Jason Trent, the morgue. Oh wow. Okay.
And he looks him in the face, and he sees this man. They worked together.
I'm going to actually demand something of you very quickly,
yes,
which is
please.
I like your spin on this. I want to introduce something for you to add to this to keep, I think, in the spirit of this mask's original intent, which was describing how you jealously destroyed another person's career. I want you to, as you're looking into Jason Trent's eyes as you're killing him, a flashback to a moment, a rivalry in your medical career with one another that made you begin to spite him.
Yeah, as he looks into his eyes with this incredibly strong flash of violence, it actually reminds him of a strangle victim from a long time ago. Trent had gone over this autopsy after the doctor had discovered that she had actually succumbed to another illness, but Trent had, he had delegated it to just the strangling and only the strangling. It wasn't because of anything else, but because of where Trent came from. He came from a lot of money. That degree was practically handed to him for little to no fucking work. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's never known what he's done. And the doctor hated that. He despised that. There's people out there who misdiagnose, who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, who let their bias take control of these situations, and it infuriates him. It infuriates him. The police in this world are not just bullies to him, but the doctors as well. And he's going to clean this. Like this hate and this seething rage comes less out of more of a jealousy of their lack of accountability.
Yeah, sure.
I'd say.
I'm with it. I like it. Well,
and he just, without a word, staring into Trent's eyes, Trent recognizes him. He just snaps his neck. His first ever kill on the list. Lets him go, lets him drop very lightly. And then he starts moving. And he starts looking for Tati Brathwaite.
Alrighty. Now let's jump to the unseen. This is the last prompt. The last card drawn is the Devil. I'm directing this to you, Jordan. Representing the seduction of the material world and other earthly pleasures, continue your reading and then tell Lydia definitively what she must do.
Interesting. It appears that you are succumbing to desires that may harm you. Yes. Interesting indeed. We have that, and that as well. Do you truly love this man, or do you just want him? I might ask. I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Do you love this man, or do you just want him? What are you willing to throw away? What do you want to do? What do you truly want out of this situation? How long have you known him? Do you feel like you've known him long enough? Do you feel like the choices that you make are going to be worth it in the long run? The cards can only say so much. Ultimately, it comes from the heart. It comes from your decision, your survival, and your desires, of course. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you would want to be happy. And if this would make you happy, is there harm in pursuing it? Or are you just waiting for a better option? And she just sets the card down and kind of pushes it forward, almost giving it to her. I suggest that you take time to think, and don't allow any man to influence you on what you truly want in your heart. And just kind of like gives her a pat on the hand. Ultimately, it is your choice. And she leans back and just allows her to think on that.
Very well. All right. Let's jump back. Let's do some denouements with with Ross and Carla, starting with Ross. What is the resolution of your evening after witnessing and spying on the Abernathys?
Ross, having seen all of that and exactly what it seems to be the Abernathys are pursuing, has realized that perhaps this camera is not in the proper hands, but my boy's feeling a bit shaken, so he is going to drop down from his perch, make his way to his favorite brothel / opium den, going to relax a bit before heading home. And he might bump into somebody on the way, maybe not, who knows?
Maybe,
That's
we'll
up for the keeper to decide.
Yeah, we'll see. Actually, I'll conclude where we started. You're walking back, and then you hear kind of walking alongside you,
Interesting night.
and the man in the sun mask stands alongside you.
Very enlightening evening, Goldie. Though it seems you are out of rhythm.
How do you mean?
He's going to point up to the moon and then point to him.
Indeed. The moon was always more of Cyrus's thing than my own. And, well, to be quite fair, Mr. Fontenot, the sun is never gone while the moon is around. It is simply elsewhere, on the other side, shining light that reflects against the pale lunar skein.
Did you get everything that you hoped for this evening?
Everything? Why, certainly not. None of us get everything we are looking for, but I did enjoy myself. As I hope you accomplished at least part of what you were hoping to find.
Slowly but surely, the turtle makes his way to his destination.
Indeed he does. Indeed he does. I would love to speak again sometime soon, Mr. Fontenot. I have a great desire for your continued company. And that of your friends.
You always know where to find us, Goldie.
Kind of like, he looks around at the streets, looks up in the sky, looks down at the ground.
So much more for the telling.
And he kind of walks down the street. We cut away now to Carla, who you are drinking. How does your night end?
Ends with, I think, Pettigrew has long since drank himself into a stupor. That man has seen too much for the night, and he is currently passed out on a couch while Carla is sitting with Bennett. He doesn't really sleep these days. Such is the nature of, well, a curse, as it were. And she looks at him. Such a strange world that we live in. Such strange forces moving about. It's been a very, very long time, my dear, since anyone has tried to use the people I know and love like pawns. Tell me, after all this is done, whenever that may be, what do you want, my dear?
You're talking to Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want? I don't know. I'm actually a little hungry, but I take it you didn't mean that. I want to be my own person and rely on your kindness and help you however I can.
It's a dangerous road to walk. Now, I'm perhaps not one to be talking. Well, part of the reason why I've survived as long as I have is because I know what people want. I know how to get it for them. If you want to be by my side, I can't force you to make that decision. You're a little different than most people, Bennett.
I am?
What? Most people can't throw men across a room.
Fair enough.
Tell you what, I'll let you think on it. Let you get a little bit older. But if that's what you decide when the time comes, well, I'm not about to say no.
He nods, kind of reflectively, and wanders off, leaving you to your thoughts.
She finishes her glass of wine, unbraids her hair and takes the flowers out, and she wanders off back onto the streets of London.
Very well. Dr. Murdock. You spend the evening stalking through the woods until the sky is turning a faint pale blue, and you find yourself in a clearing, a woody clearing, and you see Toddy Brathwaite is standing, gun pointed out at the man whose ankle you definitely swept out from underneath him later. He's wounded. You can see he's taking a shot to the shoulder. He's on the ground. He's like, no, please don't. You see Toddy's going, please don't. Just shoots him in the head. Waste. And begins to polish off her gun. And she where's that bloody doctor?
Did I get my hands on a gun at any point? Can I say that I got my hands on a gun at one point?
Yeah, let's say you got your hand on one of the hunting guns. Yeah, I'll allow that.
In her moment of comfort, Doc's gonna take a shot.
You take a shot, bam, it slams into her shoulder. She immediately falls back against a tree, and she screams out with it, and she looks up at you and she goes, "Oh, you piece of," and she goes for her gun.
Down!
You first. You think I can't shoot you with a bad shoulder? God, you fucking idiot, you hit me.
You're certainly welcome to try, but understand this. I've had about enough of the Brathwaites meddling in the Hargrave business, so you hear me good. You are going to abandon this path that you're walking on, or we are going to demolish and burn that entire manor. Do you understand me?
You are so fucking pathetic. You think I give a shit? No. I don't care what you do, and I'd like to see you try. Because sorry. You remind me of a sick fox. And what do you do, Dr. Murdock?
A sick fox. Good. It takes one to know one. And he fires a shot, and
as your finger begins to pull the trigger, coming off the side of your periphery, something knocks your knocks your gun upwards, and it fires into the tree line. And you turn next to you, and you see that holding a cutlass in her hand is Theodora Brathwaite, stepping out of the tree line, who just now stepped with all of the dexterity of a seasoned swashbuckler. Smacks your gun up from it, and sitting next to her is an old, wrinkly-skinned butler who looks rather displeased to be out in the forest this early, and Theodora is hiking her skirts high, and she goes, Now, Dr. Murdock, there's no need for any of that mess. I assure you, I knew nothing of my dear daughter's proclivities this evening, and if I had known, I would have seen you safely escorted away. Tutty, she looks at her and says, Go back to your room and clean yourself up. And you see that Toddy kind of like, she shot me. She goes, and Theodora says, I don't care. Go back inside and clean yourself up. Suture your own wounds. Toddy gets up and eyes you heavily, picks up her gun by her side. I'm not done with you yet, pretty boy. Walks towards being skulking back off through the tree line. Now, Dr. Murdock, allow me to extend my sincerest apologies for this evening. Frankly speaking, I had no idea this was to transpire. I'm aware of my daughter's hunting hobbies, but I believe I told her and her troublesome friends that you and all the others are currently off limits.
What is your game here? Theodora, I have seen you consistently over the last several weeks, whether in my periphery or as little hints laying about, and we come to find that you have a Sir Higgins at our estate threatening us, warning us to stay out of your business, when it's felt like you've been in nothing but ours. What is your game? What have we done to you?
You? Oh. You've done nothing at all, dear doctor. At all. I'm very interested in you, but not of a hostile nature, and indeed I was hoping to discuss these business propositions at my party tomorrow evening, and I hope this, tawdry affair does not get in the way of your attendance. I was looking forward to discussing things further in a more comfortable setting and not, well, the middle of my woods. As for my game... She, like, regards the sword in her hand. And you see that as she, like, holds up, part of her sleeve, like, falls back. And you can see, like, a little anchor tattoo on her forearm. And she says, you know, they used to call me the Pirate Queen of Barbuda. I preferred the Terror of Montserrat. In those days, the very mention of my name inspired a sort of trembling excitement, and no one feared me more than the Royal Navy. But even that, back then, it was just business, not a game. Business. It's always been about business, Dr. Murdock. Every move I make, every palm I grease, every lord and lady I get on side is about my commercial affairs. Unless it's not. The Queen is special. There's always been more to the story when it comes to her, our dear Queen. But all this to be discussed at the party. Elmore, would you see Dr. Murdock safely escorted back to the estate grounds and get him a carriage bound for London post-haste? And you see, like, the very wrinkly ancient butler says, yes, of course, Miss Brathwaite. Dr. Murdock, if you would so kindly follow me.
Please, through the way that we came, I have to pick up a friend.
And you see that Theodora cocks a little eyebrow at you. Well, don't let me keep you. Oh, and one more thing, Dr. Murdock.
Yes?
Good luck. On your personal endeavors, that is.
Right.
I'm sure you and I can discuss the miracles of medicine and alchemy once your little experiment is complete.
Bigby Murdock is not an experiment.
My apologies. Your great work, then.
He is simply my best friend. Yes.
Good morning, Dr. Murdock. I'll see you soon. And Theodora, with all the confidence of the woman of her age and her past, saunters off into the woods. And we're going to go to break.
Can I do mention that he does pick up Trent, his
absolutely
friend, on the way back.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you have you can add a part. You can add a part to your list from that. Yeah.
I can now put the servant into play.
You can put the servant into play. All right, we're gonna jump to a quick break, so we'll be back here in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Ooh, that was a fun Theodora interaction. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. That was an interesting little night phase we just had.
Oh man,
that's a word for it.
We have officially met Toddy Brathwaite, and we had more interactions with Theodora. But we're gonna move on to the dawn phase. So, first of all, no threats are resolved, so no rewards need to be collected. Let's go down the line here. Ross, let's answer your dawn question. Do you answer a question since the last night phase? No.
No.
Wait.
La Hortensia.
Yes, you did. Okay, yes, you did. So you have answered a question.
Nice.
That's good. Did you resolve a threat? No. Ross, did you experience an echo in the night?
I did. With the fool. I made mention of taking a pathway left, which seems much easier, but of less recognition, things of that nature.
The
and then
alleyway.
one of the right.
Yeah.
The
I like that.
alleyway and falling directly behind.
That was great. Did you have a raw, passionate sexual encounter during which your feral nature manifested? No.
Unfortunately, no.
Did you encourage a fellow hunter to let loose for a change?
I believe during the conversation with Pyrrha.
Yeah, I believe you did. I believe you did.
We suggested going out to the countryside on a chaperoned day of just relaxation.
All right, that's 3 XP for you and an advancement. Excellent.
Nice.
Dr. Murdock,
Nice.
you answered a question. Did you experience an echo in the night?
The flash of violence mirroring the tarot card.
Yes, indeed. Did you have a conversation with a child when no one was looking? Yes, you did. Did you dismiss the possibility of a supernatural explanation despite everything you've experienced?
Did we do that last session? Because I definitely didn't do it this session.
I don't believe you did. That's okay.
Yeah, then I would say no.
You get 3 XP.
Nice.
And lastly,
I'm getting close to maxing this motherfucker out, dude.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit.
All right, you get Carla. Let's see. Did you resolve a question? Yeah, yep. A question, no threat. Did you experience an echo in the night?
Yes, I did.
You guys are getting good at these now. I'm glad.
I was asking Bennett what he wanted to do, similar to how the fortune teller was asking Lydia what she wanted to do.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I like that a lot. That's nice.
Did you express a clear preference for the beautiful over the mundane?
I mean, passively last session, but not actively.
I'll give it to you.
Fair enough.
And did you appear in London society wearing risque or avant-garde fashion?
Yes.
Always.
Twice. Both in the day and in the night.
Yep. Mark
do I
4.
smell an advancement?
Yes, you do.
I guess I do.
All right. What advances are you taking, Ross? Custom move?
I am going to take a custom move.
Ooh.
And I am currently, it's happening to me in real time. I'm getting suggestions and comments from the Gauntlet Discord.
You guys rock.
Right now. Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome. They're helping me out with a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping mine simple, and I think it's very sensible after last night. +1 to sensitivity.
Yeah, very fair.
Yes.
Yes. Get that supernatural stuff, girl. I love it. Alrighty, you may all mark new elective dawn questions, if you so please. Or you may leave them the same. Let's see. All right. Okay, you are... The quickening is over, obviously. All right, Dr. Murdock, the Resurrectionists. Let's address that. Harley White will bestow upon you the rewards, which I believe is a new part, right?
Yes, and it's a new part. Doc looked at it. This shit's fucked up.
You're choosing it to be a spare part for your custom move instead of a child part, yeah?
Yes.
Cool. Very cool. I look forward to that.
And with Trent, I also get a part as well?
Yes. Yeah, you can get your choice of child part or spare part.
It's going to be a spare part, which will put me at 6, which now allows me to put the servant into play.
Ooh. Well, not into play, but you can make it now.
Yeah. I can make it now and use it and shit.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, fucking the Discord has descended on Wes's custom move like a bunch of vultures. It's great. I love the Gauntlet community.
It's amazing.
That's great. Excellent. And I believe that's it. Let's resolve some Janus Mask prompts that are unresolved, which is to say the Mask of Apathy, which as a reminder, it's hunters need to narrate a scene to a time they were hurt and nobody cared. So who would like to go first? Go ahead, Meg.
It's hard to say at what time period this is. Carla's dress isn't particularly evocative of any given time, or at the very least not one that our audience would be very familiar with. She is dressed a lot more humbly than you usually see her in the modern day. It's closer to a merchant woman's clothes, maybe closer even to a peasant woman's, and you notice that she is sitting on the side of a busier street. And she's looking up, and she has a little cup out before her, and she is asking, please, anything to spare? And people don't pass her notice very much. And the camera pans down away from her face, and you see that there is a child at her bosom. And they're suckling at her chest, and there's nothing coming out. And she's just holding this child close against her chest. It's like, it'll be all right. We'll get you something. And you see that actually next to her is an older, a young boy. It's like, Mom, we should go. And she nods, and she stands up, and the three of them keep going. And the scene slowly darkens.
Very interesting.
So a younger Cal Murdock is at a police station. This is the 4th time that he has filed a report with Scotland Yard over the death of his best friend. He is screaming and demanding that someone come out and just talk to him, because he knows who did it. He knows who did it. He saw them run away. He knows who did it, and they know who it is. They know who it is. He throws accusations left and right over a deputy's son, who him and others had beaten Big V to death. But no one would listen. Every time he's been sent away, and this time he got a warning that if he were to press any farther, then they would put him in jail himself. They said they would look into it, like they did 3 other times before, and yet they still did nothing.
And Wes, did you go?
Ross Fontenot is no longer a child, but not yet a man. He is wearing thick leather boots, pants made for wading, and normal outdoor clothes. He's supposed to be at a party in his evening. He is supposed to woo the women of New Orleans and find a proper, suitable mate, someone to help strengthen the Fontenot line, not just by blood, but by finances. His father has been hemorrhaging money with ventures that seem foolhardy. Textiles, though it may not seem so, is a game that is close to gambling. Blackjack, it seems. You take a lot of risks when getting into the textile industry. His father has made all the wrong choices, but Ross can make those choices right. He's wading through the swamp behind the manor when his eyes catch something. A gator. Not big though, a baby. He wades slowly, trying to get his hands on it, because this would be a prize worthy of catching his father's attention. Something that might get his harassing words and pestering off his back for a little bit. Him also holding a gator might be able to help him find someone suitable to spend the rest of his life with, though he doubts it. As he slowly makes his way, creeping closer to the creature, his hand almost around its body. He doesn't see it. Nestling in the water, his walking has stirred what seems to be a water moccasin in its rest. It strikes at his arm, piercing through the clothing. Fontenot textiles are not known for their strength. He feels the venom seep into his arm quickly. He grabs it with his other hand, his big, rough-hewn hand, and he snaps its neck quickly. He digs the fangs out and quickly makes his way out of the water, seeing the gator look back at him and swimming slowly further into the swamp. He's cursing at himself, stomping across the gardens as he makes his way. He drops the snake body, pulls out his knife, cuts an incision where the snake bite had laid, and begins sucking on his arm, spitting out the venom. He can feel it pulling from his blood, from his veins. He stomps, tracking mud and bile and what other kind of grossness from the swamp on marble floors. As he opens the door, you can hear sounds of Americana playing through the halls. He's stopped by a butler. He says, "Reeves, I've hurt myself. Attend to it." Reeves says, There, young Mr. Fontenot. You are needed elsewhere. Your mother has the young lady Thibodeau that she wishes you to meet. It would be a wonder for you. I don't understand. That has to wait right now. I've been bit by a snake. The poison." He goes, "Do not trouble yourself with that, all right? You're tracking mud all throughout please, before your mother and father see you." And he's ushered quickly up to his room, where he spends the better part of an hour doing medical first aid on himself, fitting himself into ill-fitting garments before he has to go and make his way in front of other people that he does not know and does not care for.
Very good. Very good. I love all those. Back to the daytime, however. Let's take a look here. All right, I think it's time to move on into the day phase, which means we can introduce a new threat, because the side threat does not count. Oh, geez, Jordan's camera froze for a moment on him biting his lip in that home phase. It's all good. Oh, now it's frozen again.
Hold on.
You're catching. There you go.
It's getting bad. It gets worse before it gets better. Worse before it gets... Okay, we're good.
I have been sitting on this threat for a while now, and I believe with this we are officially going to be out of the OG standard threats. This threat is called Sally No Face.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh shit.
The Daily Telegraph has a story about a washerwoman named Clara Yarborough, who was found dead in a hallway of her tenement house in Whitechapel. Her face had been carefully removed. This is the third such crime this month. The other two victims, Edward Clive and Dolly Merriweather, also lived in Whitechapel. People are already saying it's old Sally No Face who's doing it. But Sally No Face is just a legend. Children have been singing her song in the streets for as long as anyone can remember. It goes something like, Poor old Sally, trapped in a fire, her looks burned up without a trace. If you're lovely with fate most dire, she'll come and take your lovely face. Wes, I'm going to leave this into your hands. Ross, you have a history with Clara Yarborough. What is it? Now I will say, we had a washerwoman NPC named Clara from the hotel that you had a little night with. So I'll leave it up to you whether this is the same Clara or a different Clara. I'm just seeing the cards falling into place.
Got a thing for Clara?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go. It's her. It's Clara Yarborough by the name washerwoman.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that tracks. It all tracks. It all comes together.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
Amazing. Well, then, yes, it is indeed awful, dreadful news. There are 3 questions available for this threat. The first one is, where is the killer hiding? That has a complexity of 4. The second question is, how is the killer choosing their victims? That has a complexity of 6. And the third question is, what is the true identity of the killer and what drove them to this madness? That has a complexity of 8. Now, any three of these can resolve the threat, but they resolve them in 3 different ways. Finding out where the killer is hiding lets you confront them in their lair and then capture or kill them, a dangerous option. Just figuring out how they choose their victim allows you to set a trap for the killer, to lure them out to you and then capture or destroy them. Middling ground, but then the most complicated one, the true identity, allows you to resolve the threat by empathizing with the killer and then bring them in peacefully. So
we're killing this. Right? Like, that's...
What was the last question?
What is the true identity of the killer and what drove them to this madness? And the mask for this threat is the Mask of Beauty.
All right.
Yes.
Not fucked at all.
Mm-hmm. So, you got some bodies in a mortuary, and some crime scenes. And but other than that, this threat is more open across London, so we'll see where we go with that. But we don't have to get dressed out of this exact moment if we don't want to. Alrighty. Before we end this episode, since we're kind of like pushing, getting close, I want to do one round of scenes. We'll do one scene each right now. We'll do something before we conclude. So what does everyone want to do today? What would our hunters like to engage with?
I'd like to do a vulnerable move.
With who?
I would like to invite Ross. I would like to invite Ross if you would so accept.
I do.
Okay. I would like to have it take place in the infirmary, but I know open casket funerals are a little difficult for that. Would I be able to argue that we have the open casket funeral and then him and I have a conversation in the infirmary? Or
okay. That sounds good.
Let me check the wording very quickly. Let me just be particular for a moment.
Because
it does say that when the vulnerable move is triggered in the infirmary, we could say
maybe there was a service actually at Hargrave House.
Oh. Would they have a service at Hargrave House?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know you're trying to angle for the infirmary bonus as well. Yeah. Let's see how I don't think I can
foolishly picked a vice that is outside of the infirmary.
It's okay.
Otherwise, you can just do drugs. Cal still needs his eye stitched up.
Yeah, we can do drugs. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're, I'd say that if you're wanting to do the to get the benefits in the infirmary, I think the indulging in Ross's vice is probably, I think the easiest option. But I definitely want to see some vulnerable move scenes with the open casket funerals soon.
Yeah, I was gonna open up the floor for backstory purposes, but I'm sure that we can find another time to do that.
Yeah, so you're always gonna need vulnerable moves.
Okay.
All right, and Carla, what do you want to do? They're gonna have that vulnerable move. What do you want to do?
I think I'm going to do a little something with the Reaver's last victim.
Ooh, I want to hear that scene first, and then we'll actually. Yeah. If you feel like you can go now, let's go now.
I can do that.
Actually, no, not that one. This one. Yeah, we'll do this one. So, you remember the requirements for the scene?
I'd love it for both me and our audience for you to reread them.
I'd be more than happy to, my dear friend. The special rule here is that you have to narrate a short scene where you visit one of the crime scenes of Roger the Reaver, talk to relatives of the victims, go through official records, or do similar work. You must name and describe one of the victims as part of this. If you do so, you may find a clue.
Bonnie McAllister was someone Carla knew fairly well. She wasn't a cultist. She was close, but she wasn't a cultist. But the two of them spent a number of nights together before she turned up dead. She was actually one of the very last victims before Hargrave House started suspecting that there was something more going afoot. Carla ends up going to Bonnie's family, as Carla did attend her funeral. It was a rough couple of nights for Carla. It's been a while since she had liked someone as much as Bonnie. And when she was found to be a victim of Roger the Reaver, it put her in a very nearly unconsolable state. And so Carla goes back to Bonnie's family. It's been a few years, but she goes and she speaks with Bonnie's mother and sister. Her father unfortunately passed away from the grief of the situation. And she goes to Bonnie's bedroom. It looks almost the same as it did all those years ago. Flowers are strewn across the bed. They're dried and wrinkled and very, very dead at this point, but she remembers finding Bonnie's body covered in those flowers. And it seems that her family was too heartbroken to ever remove them, even after the body was long gone.
Very nice. You find a clue as what is the clue?
Carla looks for the first time under the bed, and she sees carved into the side a sort of repeating cipher that she recognizes that is in Roger's hand, despite the fact that it's carved. It's very, very noticeable. He had a very distinct style of writing, even when he was carving it out with a knife.
All right, write that clue down.
Will do.
And I think before we bring affairs to a close for the evening, so we can get plenty of good Pyrrha content in the daytime tomorrow, let's get that vulnerable move. It's in the infirmary, so I love it. And yeah, which by the way, here's a fun thing to think about. You could always do a vulnerable move now in the infirmary, and then do a vulnerable move at an open casket funeral afterwards, sort of like you're pre-gaming the funeral with some opium and stuff. we get fucked up before we go. Fucked up before the game, yeah. So yeah, where do we what's the set the scene for me, boys? You're in the infirmary.
I would imagine that the doctor got home rather late in the morning. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, probably.
Well, because he was out of London and he was taken by carriage. So you do kind of see him come in with a dead guy in hand. And he kind of turns over. Ross, hey, would you mind giving me a hand?
Just dragging a body behind you.
Oh, he's got him in like got him in like a hold right now.
Ross has the medicine cabinet open where opium is kept, and other like you can see his stash bag is open. And he goes, yeah.
I'll explain in a moment.
Holy shit! No. You look. Do you need to sit down real quick?
I've been sitting for about an hour and a half, and I would like to stand. And he's just kind of waddling over.
I'll help him move.
Do you know about the body in the corner? Do you know who did that?
It looks like a dog got at it. I'd maybe check with somebody else in the house. It seems that maybe somebody's pet has gotten into it.
All right, I'll take care of it. It's fine. And he dumps Trent's dead body right next to this mangled corpse.
Is that medical examiner Trent?
Uh-huh.
What happened?
It's been a very, very long night. How do you do the thing with the is it the opioids? Yes.
Oh, how do I
Yes.
change? No, the opiates suppress it. It's inherent.
Oh, Ross, I killed someone. I did it. I killed him. They were hunting us down like dogs. The Brathwaites, they kidnapped me, and
Oh, they kidnapped you and you killed somebody. This is your first time.
It was so easy. It just happened, and
I'm gonna pull out a flask. I'm gonna uncork it. I'm gonna hand it to you.
Have you ever done something like this before? I don't know how Americans get it done over there, but I've heard about duels and it's rather barbaric, but it's a thing.
I would say that duels are probably the least barbaric way to take another person's life. I think maybe snapping their neck with your bare hands might fall a little bit lower on that list.
It was a rope, but who's asking?
Oh, okay, good. All right. A rope, that's efficient.
Yeah, I need some of these, and he's just kind of like starts going through his medicine cabinet and is like looking at like the different things, like looking at narcotics.
Ross is going to take the doctor's hand real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Easy, dear boy. You might want to breathe a little bit.
I've been trying to breathe. I've been
in and out
for these.
Deeply. He's gonna pull out a bandana. He's gonna hand it over. Here, you're perspiring and you smell like the woods and dog shit.
I was in the woods and possibly dog shit. I'm not entirely sure. They brought a few of us into a hunting game, like fox hunting, except as people. It's a Brathwaite. Yes.
The Brathwaites. Okay. And there was more of you. It wasn't just you.
A lot of random people. I mean, certainly they looked about as capable as I did. They were just people.
But you got out.
Through unsavory ways, yes.
How do you feel, Doc?
Panicked for my accountability, but in terms of him, It was easy. I've never done something like that before. I've seen death around.
Now, before we continue further, I will just press lightly on the scene and remind us, all right, Wes, are we asking about pasts, or will we be getting a clue from this?
We'll be receiving a clue from this.
All right, you may resume with the scene, and then you may tell me what the clue is once you're content. But remember, tread carefully when talking about your backstories.
It was easy. It was quick. I tried to be painless with it, but how painless can strangling and neck breaking be?
Very painful.
Well, the neck breaking is quick, but it's
You
strangling.
feel everything. Doc, I don't believe I need to remind you. Having that title means you took an oath.
Yes, but really, it was his life or mine, and well, I could certainly save a lot more people by being alive, right? Or something. I don't know if I'm just making excuses or if I'm just.
You don't
So
need to make
sure.
excuses, Doc. You need to rationalize things. You've just taken another person's life. And so what you need to do is you need to understand what you're comfortable with. What you're willing to do.
A lot more than I've let on, actually.
You're on a slide, Doc. I can see it. Miss Holtz can see it. Even Pyrrha can see it. But you need to know when you get off of that, okay? I would much rather see you hit a point where you can't go any further and you come to terms with things and you move on from it. Because if you descend deeper and deeper, there's no coming back. It's not a ladder.
And the doctor kind of thinks on that for a minute, and he stands up. His demeanor kind of like shifts a little bit as like almost like you knocked some sense into him. The Brathwaites know about something that is rather unsavory about me. Something that I've been actively working on. Something that
No. The keeper
it-
politely interjects and says, no.
okay.
You
Can't reveal too much about that.
You
This-
think about saying that, Dr. Murdock, but
Mhm.
you find yourself catching your tongue.
The Brathwaites know more about us than we know about them.
Good line.
They are... I can't quite put a finger on it, but they are... They're hard to maneuver around. They've been following us.
Then we make sure that we set them on a path that we don't intend to go on. Or if they dream of using what they know about us against us, make sure we use it first. So that we're in preparation and we catch them off guard.
I'm not a good person, Ross. I won't dive into it now, but I feel like a lot of things are going to start coming to a head soon, and I hope you don't think of me less for it. And he kind of sits down for the first time since he stepped into Hargrave House.
Ross is going to take the flask from him. He's going to put a hand on his face and he's going to say, well, good thing you're in good company, Doc. You're not the only one. He's going to take a swig from it. And he's just going to set it down on the table and he's going to walk out.
Now you tell me, Ross, what clue do you stumble upon, and for what threat?
looking at the threats that we have here. It wouldn't make sense for Sally No Face because we haven't really initiated that one yet.
Fair enough.
Figs Pigs is explained, and the Reaver's last victim. Well, the clues that come with that, we have to go through a special set of skills. So for the Watley camera,
Cool.
I think when Ross is stepping out, he notices something sticking out of the trousers of medical examiner Trent. It is a photograph, a small one. It has been processed. It has been made. It's folded in half, and he grabs it. And it is of someone that we do not know as characters, but we as people and audience members know is missing. And we can just see the medical examiner Trent off to the side of the photo, as if he himself had spent some time in the Society Obscura.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, I like that. And I think that will bring this evening's chapter of The Between to a close. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to my hunters for playing. We will see what strange bedfellows await the Hunters of Hargrave House next week, same time, same place, when we resume this Chronicle of the Between. Until then, sleep well and rest easy, for the night is dark, well, and full of terrors. Good evening.